Shit, man, I'm maintaining, man. You know what I mean? Maintaining, brother. I've gone 2 weeks without smoking weed, Chilla. I stopped smoking, Chilla. You know what I mean? Yeah.
What's been the secret to success and how difficult has it been?
That shit was difficult the first week. Chilla, that shit was hard. But I'm glad I stopped. It's probably the best thing I did was stop burning. I'm not gonna lie to you, Chilla. Best thing I did. I'm not gonna lie to you.
You feeling the results?
Yeah, I am.
Yeah,
I really am. I feel mad different and shit. You know what I mean? I ain't gonna hold you, man. Well, enough about my old ass, man. Nobody care about me, man. Brother, let's go ahead, man. I know the culture, been talking about Hitman and Mook, and that's been, the conversation. Do you feel you guys released that a little too early, though?
No.
No? Okay.
No. For one, one thing at TBL that we kind of is really important to us is to give the fans as much notice, as possible, right? So when it comes time to, like, I'm somebody that has played, I feel like, a majority of roles in this culture. I've been a fan, been a battler, been a judge, I've been a league owner, I've been a Cody panelist, I've been a champion. Like I've been in a lot of different roles, and so when it comes time to consider any of these things, I feel like I'm able to do that at a higher level than most people. So when it comes to your average fan, they have to take time off their job.
Yes.
They have to buy a flight.
Right.
They have to look for and buy a hotel.
Mm-hmm.
They have to buy tickets. They have to potentially rent a car. They have to consider how much parking is at the venue. Like, there's a lot of things that go into being able to map out and plan a weekend away from the crib in another place that might be thousands of miles away to enjoy a battle rap event, right? And so for us, we always like to give the main event 3 months out or more.
Okay.
And then we always like to give you the full card 2 months out.
Okay.
Because we want people to have time to buy tickets. They might not have the money right then and there. They might have to budget it. They might have to save. I got to wait 3 or 4 checks, and I got to put aside $40 a check to be able to do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, for us, we like to announce things early, get them out the way. And then we also like to do multiple rollouts. So if you notice with Apollo specifically, we announced Daylight Nitty. We announced the other co-main events. We announced 6 other battles. Then the full card. Then we chilled. We chilled for like 3 weeks. Then we came back. We did a second rollout that included dropping the Nitty Daylight face-off, dropping the Hollow Jazz face-off. We did weekly face-offs on Spaces. And we had other things, right? So we like to do at least two different rollouts where you're getting updates on the event, content from the event, information on the event.
Right.
So what you're seeing now is the first rollout. And we're delayed a little bit only because we wanted to extend some grace and space for URL to be able to take off, right? So we don't want it to look like we're competing. We don't want to make it seem like, oh, they drop an announcement. We're trying to drop an announcement to trump what they have going. Like,
and we've seen that through the years of culture with leagues is trying to.
Absolutely, and even for the I think the Apollo rollout, we were getting T-Top announcements, we were getting Bags and Body announcements for One Night Stand, and we were getting Apollo announcements, right? And it was like, I do think that was exciting for the culture, but I think it also put this narrative of like we were all trying to trump each other. Oh, Hitman just announced this. What's CBL going to announce? Is it going to be bigger battle? Is it going to be? We want everybody to support everything because that's what keeps the culture alive. So support URL, support their announcement, support Gnome happening at the end of June. And then a few months later, we got Bulletproof. Support Bulletproof, support Mook and Hitman and everything else we have planned for the undercard. So early, I think, gives us more grace, gives us more time, and it gives the fans more times as well. Also, it gives battlers more times to prepare. and that's really important to me as a battler as well.
So to the people, do we have an actual date now? Does everybody know what the actual date is?
September 13th.
September 13th, okay.
Is the date at Noto Houston, NOTO.
Noto Houston.
It's a nightclub in downtown Houston that is incredible. You can see pictures online. There's a 3D tour. I'll also be walking y'all through the venue in a video I'm gonna shoot really soon out in Houston. So I'll walk you through the venue. I'll show you what the sections look like, the booths look like, where the stage is gonna be, and all that good stuff. So people have as much information as they need to feel comfortable with whatever tickets they buy.
Are you? I'm pretty sure tickets are available right now as we speak, right?
Tickets are available. Early bird tickets are available now, yes. But when the last time I checked yesterday, there were 3 tickets left for the early bird.
Wow,
they've been going.
Are you shocked?
Yes and no.
Okay.
I knew they would go, but we haven't even announced the undercard or anything from the undercard, and we're already over 100 tickets sold.
Now, do you credit that to what TBL's been doing for the culture since you guys been rocking it, going crazy, and also because Hitman and Mook, that's probably the biggest battle of 2025, right?
I think all things are a factor 3. Mook and Hitman obviously play a huge part of that. They're 2 of the biggest ticket sellers in the culture, which I think we all know. I think a lot of that is also, like you said, momentum from Mass 6 and Apollo, and just the rollover of people, I think, learning to trust TBL and learning to trust what we have in store and the matchups we make and how we do our rollouts. And then also I think it also has to do with the climate of the culture right now. Like there's not a lot of
culture right now. What's the climate? Chilla Jones' opinion. You wear a lot of hats here. What is the climate of the culture in your opinion right now, sir?
Right now I feel like I always feel like when we start having and getting into conversations about non-battle rap specific things, that's because there's not enough battle rap happening in the moment. Not enough events coming up that people are looking forward to.
Right.
Maybe not too many big enough matchups that people feel like are worth talking about. And I think it's natural for there to be lulls or like little moments of maybe dry spots, quote unquote. But like I said, when we were getting announcements from Bags and Bodies, No Cut, and Apollo, there wasn't a lot of other conversations happening in spaces. There weren't a lot of other conversations happening just in the culture. People were looking forward to the cards. There were storylines being created. Is Twerk going to be able to balance all 3 of these cards? How is Vixen gonna do what she does?
Right.
Daylight's return, what that's going to be like. There were a lot of conversations happening. When Apollo actually happened, and when we announced Mook vs. Hitman, for like maybe a week and a half after that, it felt like we were talking about battle rap. And now I feel like since then, maybe like the end of April, we're kind of back in that dry spot where it's like, okay, URL just started announcing Gnome. We're just about to start announcing Bulletproof.
All right.
There's some other cards going on out there. I'm hearing rumors of maybe a Trenches card coming this summer and a Bags and Bodies card, and the Riot I think is doing something in early July.
Right.
So I think we're about to get back to that, right? I think we're about to get back to the battle rap fueled conversations, but all the Remy and Pap talk and all the Tory and Meg and like all this other stuff is like, to me that happens when the battle rap culture don't have enough battle rap to talk about.
Okay. Is there any way are we gonna get Twerk and A-Ward?
It's really up to them. It's up to them. It's up to their schedules. Obviously, we want to, we're already invested in that battle, so we want to do it whenever they want to do it, and I know the fans want to see it. So, will you get it on Bulletproof? Maybe, maybe not. Remains to be seen.
Okay.
You may get it sooner, just because they're both already prepared, and it really would just be a matter of finding a date that works for both of their schedules.
Mm-hmm.
But again, it's up to them. You know, I'll leave it to them to kind of apply that pressure for when they want to do it.
Okay.
Those guys are two of the most booked, in demand guys. A-Ward's schedule is like he's battling every other week.
I think Twerk said he's booked till December. I think Twerk said recently.
Twerk's got a lot of bookings coming up.
Woo.
A lot of bookings coming up. So it's like that's where the difficulty is going to be. Can we find a weekend that Twerk is available, that Ward is available, and that TBL is available, right? To throw an event. We almost would have to throw an event specifically for that battle. So it's just a matter of aligning schedules, and I think eventually it'll get done. But I think one thing we don't want to do is to just rush it out, or to just do it in a fashion now that seems so much less than what it was supposed to be. It was a co-main event on one of the biggest events of the year.
Right.
So just doing it in a small room full of 50 people really quick doesn't seem like we're giving that battle kind of the attention and the love that it deserves either. So we would love to again put it on a big card and trust that it'll go down. It'll just be a matter of timing. I don't know if Bulletproof works for both of them. We've kind of been figuring out the undercard without that battle, but anything is possible. And if they were both ready and committed to it, I wouldn't be against adding it to Bulletproof.
How many more battles do you have left to drop off the Bulletproof card, though? You have a lot left, right? A slew of battles, I think. Over 10.
So day one. I mean, it's a 1 day card. That's number one. It's a 1 day card. And so it's not gonna be like this 2 day, 24 battle spectacle that Mass 6 and Apollo was, right?
I apologize. What I meant to ask you is how many battles you have left from Apollo. That's what I really meant to ask you. From
Apollo. Oh, okay.
My bad.
So we have, I think right now we have Apollo releases up through Bulletproof, which is the second week of September. We've been dropping one a week.
Dope.
Pretty much since Daylight and Nitty dropped mid-April, and there were 21 battles.
Jeez.
So let's say 4 battle drops per month for 5 months. May, June, July, August, September. Yeah. We also have point proven battles, which was like Nitty and Straight, Ace and Hansel got done. Sniping Foots was incredible.
Right.
LSG Shastafa, a whole bunch of battles from that card as well that we have. So I mean, we have tons of content that's dropping. Not to mention the Bulletproof announcements, the Bulletproof face-offs, and then eventually the Bulletproof battle. So like, yeah, every week or two we got shit dropping. I believe the next drop tomorrow on Friday, if I'm not mistaken, is potentially the Battle of Apollo weekend. I think it's Ill Will and Jada Nightwing.
Wait a minute.
Is dropping next.
Why did that battle should have been early? You don't think so, though?
I like to mix it up, 3. You know what I'm saying? Like I like to, you know, I'm strategic in that way, man. I don't necessarily organize the battles and like, yo, I think this was the best battle. This is gonna come out first.
Right.
It's a mix. It's a mix of like demand and name. So obviously, Daylight and Nitty got the drop.
Right.
Hollow and Jazz was after that. Ilmac and Sick was up there. Swamp and Chess was up there. Now we're getting to what I feel like was some of the standout battles, right? We're getting to the Ill Will, Jay the Nightwing, Loso versus J2, Real Deal versus Miss Hustle, Chilla versus Verb, Quest versus Danny. Like there's still a ton of really good battles that have to drop. So I believe in June you get Ill Will versus Jay. I think we get Loso J2. I think we get Chilla Verb, and I think we get Miss Hustle Real Deal. So I think those are the 4 drops for June, and then yeah, we go from there.
I had Elijah Straight on my show last week, right? And I said to him, I said, "Yo, dog, I think you might have found a new home with TBL, sir. I don't know. Am I reaching with that?"
Nah, we are home for Elijah. Shout out to Gates, which is also home, Gate to the Garden.
Yes.
No, Elijah and Chirac are the marquee TBL people. They're
is that because New England?
Yes.
Area? Okay. You keep it.
New England talent. Okay. They will continue to get the push. They will continue to be featured and spotlighted on our cards. Okay. And a lot of people, especially after the Rum Nitty battle, have started to call out Elijah. JC wants smoke with Elijah. Chess wants smoke with Elijah.
Wow.
Fawns wants smoke with Elijah. Mm-hmm. So in the next year or so, you could very well see all of those battles happen at one point or another.
Okay. Were you shocked that Nitty said that Elijah gave a better fight than Lux and Daylight? That's a very big dog to say that though, Chill.
I think older fans hate to hear that. And I'm not saying you. I'm not saying you.
I'm already be guilty by it, Chill.
I'm not saying you. Obviously the Lux fans and maybe even the Daylight fans, I think, will be triggered by that or offended by that. But you got to understand, like, talent is talent, but there's a hunger that is a big factor in how people like Elijah or Foots or Keese and some of the other people who have performed really well against Rum, who are up and comers or who are still trying to make their name.
Okay.
There's a hunger there because in my come up, Lux was endgame. Mm-hmm. In their come up, Nitty is endgame. Respectfully. Mm-hmm. And obviously it's a lot easier to get Nitty to come outside for that than Lux ever was. But for a lot of these guys, they work for years and years and years for this type of opportunity. Right. And so although we all from battlers and maybe older fan standpoint, we may not look at Nitty as an end game in the same way as we look at a Lux or a Mook or a certain people. But make no mistake, Nitty is that to anybody who started 2016, 2015.
Okay.
Nitty is that. So
yeah.
I agree with Nitty when he says that.
Do you?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I do. And I think that hunger is the biggest factor, yo. Like, again, talent is talent. I'm not here to compare Lux's talent to Elijah,
right?
Daylight's talent to Elijah, but when it comes to how did Lux view Nitty as an opponent, or how did Daylight view Nitty as an opponent, compared to how does Elijah view Nitty as an opponent, I think it's easy to see why the pressure that Elijah may have put on Nitty in that battle may have felt different than the pressure Nitty felt versus Lux or Daylight.
Do you really feel there was a comparison? Like Elijah sounded like Nitty? Do you feel that way?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
absolutely. So I've always told Elijah that I've always said, like, I've always told him that he sounds like Nitty, and obviously he's heard it from a ton of people.
Yes.
I think more recently he's finding his own
niche. Okay.
And he's figuring out, like, what he likes to do that's specific to himself and specific to Elijah being Elijah, as opposed to Nitty or what Nitty does. And I think this battle happened at a really good time because it allowed for us to see them side by side, and it allowed for us to see, okay, Elijah's different because if you look from a technical standpoint, his setups are different because of A, B, and C,
Right.
or Nitty's setups are different because A, B, and C, and being able to see that head to head and face to face,
Right.
I think makes it easier to see the differences between them. But I think it happened at the perfect time, at the right time, and I think what Elijah learned in that battle will help him against the JCs and the Fonzes and the Chesses when he crosses those bridges coming up.
Right. How many people are reaching out to you guys though, behind the battle rappers, to get on cars and see what the budget is looking like? I mean, dog, I just watched Hitman holla. He was on polo shirt, this pulling out receipts of money, battles, money's made through the years. What kind of money y'all brothers got over at TBL? Because man, oh man, for y'all to get Hitman and Mook, that's not a cheap battle. Then you went on Twitter and asked the culture, what should be the co-main event with those battles and shit like that? And I'm like, bro, Hitman and Mook is expensive, brother. Like, co-main event? Do you need a co-main event with Hitman and Mook?
Yo, and I, you know what's funny is, I think when I asked that, or when I said that,
right,
I think people have this idea of like, of there being a fluctuating budget, right? Meaning that, oh, if you guys can afford to pay Hitman and Mook X amount, then there must be Y amount that you guys have access to, and that's not really how it works.
Right, exactly.
If the budget is kind of a stand, like a fixed number going from event to event, all having a bigger main event means is that there's less for the undercard. It doesn't mean that we have access to more money. It just means we put more into one particular matchup, right? And that's what I think fans don't get. Fans think, oh, if I spent $10 on this, they must have 50 to spend. Like, no, I still got the same $15. but instead of spending 8 on the main event, we spent 11 or 12, and now there's just 3 for the undercard instead of 7, right? And that's kind of what's the purpose of my question. But I saw a lot of really good matchups and a lot of really good matchup ideas. I think Cal and Rum is a really good matchup idea.
I love that battle.
I think obviously Twerk and A Ward was also a really popular idea, and obviously we're already invested in that, so potentially that could be a really good one. I saw some other good matchups ideas as well, like, you know, Easy and Rock. I don't know if that is in the budget, but that would be a really good co-main. Goods and Twerk, Goods and Big K, two matchups. I think that would be really good. Jazz and Hustle, I think would be an incredible co-main. I
think one person wants to battle, another person doesn't want to battle. Respectfully, when it comes to those ladies, respectfully.
I hear it, but I think people want to see it. You know what I'm saying? And so
see that.
And so you know, I wouldn't be mad sitting at the table and trying to facilitate something like that. But again, there's also a part of me, and I've said this before, there's also a part of me that's like, man, since the original happened where it happened, part of me feels like it should be there. But then I also feel an obligation to the culture to make matchups happen that they want to see, right? So it's like this I guess the struggle internally where I'm like, man, so many people want to see this. I don't necessarily know or understand what the delay for this matchup is, especially if both parties are willing to do it, and if we have a platform and the resources to get it done. You know what I'm saying? But I also would never do that without the blessing from the home, the original place where it happened as well. So
now I'm gonna ask you a question. I'm pretty sure you're not gonna disclose it here, right? But I saw Easy the Block Captain on his live 2 days ago. He said, I guess that somebody asked him in the chat, would you be willing to battle outside the trenches, right? His response was, I've had a conversation with a league about doing business. And respectfully, as a blogger, the first person I thought about was Chilla Joe's TBL, sir. I'm saying, it ain't gonna be URL. King of the Dot, you know, they're not as frequent. Shout out to KOTD right quick. RBE is not frequent. His relationship with URL is kind of slim shady there. The only league left, sir.
Well,
TBL.
Well. Let's not skip over Bags and Bodies.
Okay. Well, the only reason I skipped over Bags and Bodies because Hitman said he tried to book Rock and Easy, and that didn't happen. So that's the only reason I didn't
got you
to those. You know what I mean?
Got you.
Shout out to the Riot. Shout out to the Riot also. But I still felt it was TBL he was talking about. Could be wrong, but I felt
anything's possible. Anything's possible. Anything's possible.
Okay. When are we gonna get more announcements soon? Or it's when June 5th? It's kind of
I would yeah, so it's June 5th, and literally the only thing we're waiting on is for URL to finish their rollout.
Got you. Okay.
When URL announces the full card and they get their full flyer out for Gnome and everything is good, we're gonna tell people to support, tell people to buy tickets, tell people to support however they can. And almost immediately after, our rollout will begin. So for the main card on Bulletproof, you're going to see probably 6 battles total.
Okay.
So five more to be announced, maybe 6.
Okay.
And then, in classic TBL fashion, there will probably be 2 surprise battles.
You guys are good at that. Is that the new moniker now for TBL where you guys are gonna give us matches?
We always do.
Yeah,
we always gonna do surprise battles just because if a battle don't happen, if there's so and so missed their flight, so and so had an emergency, so and so can't get there, we want the fans to feel good about, okay, even if we don't get a battle from the main card that we're expecting, we know TBL's got something in the wing that might even be a better battle than we were expecting. Right? Think about it. Our surprise battles last year were, at Apollo, were Av and Cortez and Swamp and Chess, which was, Swamp and Chess was one of the better battles of the weekend, and Av Cortez was a solid battle. So for those to not have been advertised battles or not have been battles that people showed up or bought tickets for, I think those are 2 great battles for you to get as a surprise. You know what I'm saying? And so you can definitely count on getting some high-level battles as surprise battles as well, just in case something happens with the main card. Now, assuming everybody from the main card shows up, and I am assuming they will, it'll be about probably 8 battles total for Bulletproof.
All right. Is it dicey with the surprise battle because of rollout and the battle rappers may feel, hey, even if it's a surprise battle, but we want to roll out too and have the spaces and 3 Man, other bloggers and the timeline on social media talking about this particular battle? Because Swamp and Chess is dicey to have a rollout though. It's a great surprise battle, great. But still,
the rollout could have been dope. Rollout could have been dope for Swamp and Chess, especially with the caliber of names they have. But what I've been getting and what I've been hearing actually, 3, is a lot on the flip side, which is, you mean I can just prepare?
Okay, right.
I don't have to put so much energy into posting flyers, going online, being in spaces, going back and forth, doing WWE stuff. You mean I could just prepare and lock in and clip up? You mean people aren't gonna have expectations for my battle 3 months leading into it before I get on stage? Because you gotta also understand that the expectations that we set as fans ultimately affects how we receive the battle.
I agree.
So we're gonna have all these expectations for Mook and Hitman and how good that battle should be and how impactful that battle should be. And it's actually going to make it really easy, potentially, for another battle on that card to potentially be a better battle.
Wow.
Because everybody's going to focus on Mook and Hitman. And if that battle isn't one of the best battles of all time,
we're
going to feel like
Yeah.
It didn't meet our expectations, right? Because that's what we expect from two of the best ever in the culture, right? So for the people that are in the surprise battles, a lot of times that we've that we've dealt with, they've been like, man, the fact that I can just prepare and clip up and lock in and show up, and people won't know that I'm battling until I get on stage, and they won't have expectations for how good I'm gonna do or how this battle is gonna go. They actually like that.
Okay.
So I'm sure there are some people who would prefer to promote and would prefer to say, "Hey, I'm on Bullet. Hey, I'm on this card," but you're still gonna see them when the lights are the brightest and the cameras turn on. You're still gonna see them rocking on stage. So I think ultimately they're okay with it.
Are you guys in still negotiations with battles, or everything's a go? We just waiting for the rollout now.
We have, I think, 5 locked in.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
And we're just kind of deciding on maybe like 1 or 2 more battles and what we might want those to be. So there's like some light negotiations on some other battles, but I'll be honest with you, we were gonna stay at the 5 that we have. And
Is that including surprise battle 5, including surprise, or
not including the surprise battles?
Okay,
including the surprise. The 5 advertised battles.
What changed?
And these are really good. For me, 3 I think is greed. I think it's greed. I think like when I take into account that people are flying from all over the world to come see us,
right?
I would much rather people leave and feel like I got my money's worth. I saw a lot of dope people. I saw a lot of dope battles. Than to leave and be like, damn, it was only 5 battles. Like, all the battles were incredible, but man, I wish they had. I wish it was a little. I wish it was a little more. You know what I'm saying? Like I would rather people leave and be like, man, I'm tired. Like that was a lot of battles. Like for me, I prefer that because I know people are spending their hard-earned money and they're coming from far away places. Like, let me make sure. I got to make sure you're tired when you leave. I got to make sure you get more than your money's worth when you know what I'm saying. So yeah, like I said, we're likely gonna give y'all 6 advertised battles, maybe 7, but we've got 5 of them locked in, and honestly, we could have ran with those 5, and I think people would have been happy.
Okay. Are you going to be on this card? Are you playing executive role? What are we doing here?
Chilla Jones is not on Bulletproof.
It's not on Bulletproof, okay?
I am not on Bulletproof. As it stands right now, I am not on Bulletproof.
Stands right now, okay.
When we had our conversations before, when we had our conversations for Mass, I told you I wanted Rex. I wanted Verb.
Yes.
I got Rex. When it came down to Apollo, I wasn't planning on being on the card. Kenny said, I want you on the card. Who can I get you? I said, if you give me Verb, I'll do it. Got me Verb.
Okay.
There's nobody else on my list right now. There's nobody else that I'm like, I gotta have this battle. I really, really want this battle. There's other battles that I would take, especially on other platforms, on other cards. I haven't battled Fawns. I haven't battled T-Top. I haven't battled Ill Will. I would battle Eunice. I would battle Hansel. I would battle Eid. I would battle Foots. And I'm sure I'm missing 1 or 2 people that I would also battle that I wouldn't be mad at, but none of them are like, I'm not so fixated or obsessed with any one of those battles that I'm willing to book it on this card, right? Like I don't feel the urgency to put myself on every big card that we do. And if it was up to me, I probably wouldn't have been on Apollo if it was really, really up to me.
Okay.
I don't regret it, and I'm definitely happy with the way the battle came out. I think it was good stuff, but I'm totally content, bro. That itch to battle isn't really there so much anymore. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
I'm content being a league owner. I'm content helping facilitate things for TBL. I'm content doing other things in the culture, mentoring and developing and helping other battle rappers reach new heights and do certain things. I don't think the itch ever permanently goes away. I'm sure there's going to be a time where I'm like, man, I got to get back and I got to get some things off my chest, but
yes.
I don't think it's going to happen for Bulletproof.
Okay. What's your thoughts on Gnome?
They just announced Rock vs. Sick, which I think
I love that battle, Chilla. I love that battle.
I think that's the best announcement so far. I don't know if that's going to be the top of the flyer. I can't imagine anything being too much bigger than that. But I love that battle. I love Chess and Eunice. I love Fonz and John. I actually really like Hustle and T-Top as well. I think the matchups are dope. I think after 15 gnomes, it's easy for the fans to be critical.
Yeah.
And it's easy for the fans to be like, damn, no Lux, no Mook.
I was kind of shocked the fans wasn't happy with John and Fonz, so I saw people poo-pooing on it. I'm like, damn, I like that battle.
Me too. And I was a little I think I was a little surprised too, because that's actually one with a storyline. Like I would have loved to have booked that battle. I would have easily put that battle on Bulletproof if we could have booked it. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I feel like we do really well with our matchups at TBL, but the idea that, and again, maybe it's because we're TBL, and maybe it's because we're the new kids on the block. Maybe we get more grace with our matchups. But like I said, after 15 gnomes, I think it's easy for fans to be dismissive of some really good matchups. You know what I'm saying?
Also, they're kind of going crazy on T-Top and Hustle. I know Hustle didn't like the fact that people were kind of like not too crazy about the battle. She's more vocal than T-Top, I would say, in terms of, people not going crazy, for that battle, like Chess and Eunice, and maybe I feel like the culture is going more. They have a Real Sick and then Rock, of course, and Chess and Eunice, and I feel like John and Fonz and Hustle and T-Top, people are like iffy.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I could lend to that is saying that maybe there are other matchups for both of them that people want to see more. Right? Okay. People want to see Hustle and Jazz. People want to see Hustle and Easy. I don't know that any of those
Easy. I love that battle. I'm not going.
I don't know that any of those matchups are in her control, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, if Jazz isn't into the idea of battling or doesn't want to battle right now, and if Easy isn't into the idea or doesn't want to battle right now, like, I don't expect Hustle to just sit at home and chill.
Right.
She's one of the best battlers in this culture.
Absolutely.
Of any gender, right? So it's like I think Hustle being on the card versus anyone is a win. I think T-Top being an anglist and a strategist, I think is definitely going to be a test for Hustle, and I think it's a good style clash. So like I said, I actually like the matchup, and I think that that battle is going to end up being one of the better battles of the night, if I'm being honest.
Wow. Okay.
As long as they both show up on 10, and I really like the Gnome card as a whole. Like I think the whole card is really, really good. And like I said, after 15 gnomes, fans are gonna be a little rough with their expectations, because other gnomes have produced, I'm trying to remember some of the battles. I think Daylight and Rock and Lux and Surf and like okay, so
Chess,
yep. So I get it, right? Like, we're looking back at what battles were,
right,
and how they turned out, and we're looking at these battles on paper, and we're not sure if they equal up or if any of the battles on paper can equal any of those battles we just mentioned. But let the battles play out, man.
Right.
Rock and Sick is classic potential. Chess and Eunice.
Can Real Sick walk into Gramercy Theater and beat Tay-Rock?
Yes, he can.
Wow, you said that real. Damn. And you battle both those brothers too, man.
Real Sick, one of the best we got.
I think so too.
He's one of the best we got. Rock has been one of the best we got for a decade. That's the only difference. Sick is one of the best we got right now. Rock is one of the best we got right now, and has been one of the best we've had in a decade. just as easily as I believe Sick can walk into this battle and win, Rock can walk into this battle and win. It's there's no wrong answer as far as the prediction goes.
Mm-hmm.
I think I would probably go Rock 2-1.
Okay.
But Sick is getting to that level where he has the crowds figured out. He knows how to walk you to a haymaker. He's learning how to walk you to a haymaker. Like versus Clips, it was the, you know what I'm saying? Look, I don't got a punchline and they still listening. Like how he walked you to that to Ilmac with the got a tattoo, a pat on your calf. I want the culture to give you a pat on the back. Like he's learning how to walk you right to a haymaker. Being able to test that now with Rock at the Gramercy, it can get very spooky.
Wow.
It can get very spooky for Rock. But at the same time, when Rock turned that energy up, it's just tough to stand in front of.
I want to say also, I hope one of my guys that I rock with heavy, I hope Jay the Nightwing is back on TBL. So I just want to throw that out there. I love Jay the Nightwing. You understand?
Jay the Nightwing is definitely one of the battlers we want to continue to work with and build up and give some shots to, along with, Real Sick, along with Elijah, along with, this J Love. Fendi had a standout performance at Point Proven. We want to continue to work with Fendi. Sniper. Okay. A lot of people that when you show out on a TBL card, we don't just thank you and keep it moving. Like we want to keep you on the platform and we want to keep you growing, right? We want to keep you seeing what you can do. So yes, you'll definitely see Jay the Nightwing on TBL. He's got a lot of matchups that people want to see, from Verb, to Chess, to Ars, to I seen somebody say they want to see a rematch with him and JC. There's some options out there for Jay that make a lot of sense. Even Daylight I've seen brought up. I like that for him.
Yeah, I think Daylight is a nice battle. I'm not gonna hold you. That's a good battle.
Yeah. So there's a lot of options for Jay, and a lot, as long as he stays in that same mode he's in and in that same bag he's in,
right?
You'll definitely see him on some TBL cards coming up. Maybe even Bulletproof. You never know.
What makes TBL decide, you know what, we're gonna invite this person back? Is it the quality of the performance? Can they stink up the joint and get a redo? What's the factors here that plays into let's call this person back and give them another run?
Yeah, if somebody shows out on TBL, it almost becomes a priority for us,
right?
To want to have you back, right? To want to bring you back, to want to see you show out once more, because I think that's how the natural flow of business should work. I think when politics are allowed to get involved, that can change who we see and when we see them, right? Right. There's no reason that if somebody is battle after battle after battle not having standout performances or great performances or even getting smoked, that they should be allowed to continue to show up on cards when there are people who are killing it on the same cards and not being invited back. You know what I'm saying? So even just looking at Apollo, right? If I think about who I felt like were standout performances, I would say Ill Will, Jay, Real Sick, Pass, Loso, Capo, Miss Hustle, Real Deal.
He's having a dope year also. Shout out Real Deal right quick. He's having a dope year, but continue.
Real Deal's having an incredible year.
Yes, having a great year.
Swamp and Chess. Like when I think about all those guys, like every person I just named,
Mad Flex,
definitely. Every person that I just named, I think we've already had a conversation about another battle.
Okay.
Whether it was Point Proven, which happened last month, whether it's Bulletproof, or whether it's even something coming up after that, we've had conversations with them to say, "Yo, you did really good. We, we'll be in touch, or we got something coming up. We'll hit you up in a month or two to figure things out." That's not to say the people who did terrible or the people who did bad or maybe had a bad night will never be invited back. That's not to say that, right? But that's just to say that the people who give us our money's worth and give the fans their money's worth will always have a home at TBL. And I think that's how it should be.
Absolutely.
I think that's how it.
All right. Last question, and it's not a controversial question, but I was kind of would like to get your take on this. I know you don't like talking about stupid shit. I know one thing, and this is why it's kind of hard to talk to you, because if I know you all these years, I've known you for over 10 years. You don't do no drama. You're not into that. Anybody that knows Chilla Jones and talk to this brother, the brother don't be into no drama. He don't be into no bullshit. He kind of stays the course. If you look see, I'm very big on track record. I'm very big on history of people and their movements and mannerisms and things that they say, right? When Verb reached out to you the other day, and the situation with him and Hitman, which I think is crazy right now, right? Did that bother you at all?
Yes.
Okay. Was it hard to maintain your composure?
Yes.
Okay. Which is great. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I'm just keeping it real.
Yes, sir.
Like you said, I feel like I've been in this culture since 2011.
Jeez.
Right. So we're I'm into year 14.
Jesus Christ.
And I think certain things about me have been very routine. Like you said, I'm not big on the drama stuff. I'm not big on controversy. I've had issues with and run-ins with over the years for whatever reasons. Quantum physics, Hitman and Verb in 2016 about that event that they were trying to do in St. Louis. I'm trying to think if there was anything.
Well, you got to think, brother. That means there's not a lot going on.
It hasn't been too many
run-ins and shit.
Hasn't been too many things for real. But yeah. So for me, right, to not have this reputation of being in drama or doing anything like that, it's like, Verb, if you're being told that I had some type of alliance or allegiance, or that I was in on some type of plan or conspiracy to set you up or to line you up, then come to me and ask, as a man, whether in whatever private space, come to me and ask. I'll address any concerns that you may have had. I'm not necessarily mad at him asking me that. 3, I'm mad at the manner of which he did it. You asked me on Twitter, and it was almost like it almost didn't seem like a genuine ask. It felt like it was an ask, and then like not a threat per se, but like it was like an ask and then like just some extra shit. And again, anybody close to me knows the reason why we went last. We went last because right around the time, right before Ill Will and Jay the Nightwing battled, I got a notification that one of my students who was in the hospital passed away.
Sorry to hear that, brother.
And the other side to that is I had students in the building who were there to watch me battle. So not only did I get the notification, but they got the notification. So now not only am I fighting with my own emotions and still running an event and still getting ready for a battle, but I'm also concerned for my students who are in the building. And are they okay? And how are they handling this?
Right.
In the midst of being around 600 people at an event, like that matters to me too. You know what I'm saying? So the reason why our battle ended up being last, honestly, is because I spent a lot of time in the back crying and just sorting through my emotions enough to where I felt like I was able to stand on stage and deliver. And I even addressed that a couple days later on Twitter. And I said, yo, when y'all see this battle, y'all are going to notice that my voice is like scratchier and cracking more than usual. And it's because I spent an hour crying and yelling in the back before the battle because I was going through my emotions. And so I think for Verb to then insinuate that there was a possibility that either that wasn't true or that I put us last to try and line him up.
Right.
To me was like, okay, like I know you crazy, Verb. Like I know you be like on your all over the place type shit, but like don't rope me into it. I have nothing to do with what's going on with you and Hitman.
Right.
I even went through extra precautions to make sure Hitman was out of the building before you got there. Hitman will verify.
Wow.
So there was no plan to line Verb. There was no initiative that I know of or that I was involved in to do anything to Verb. So just to be even speculative to be attached to that is disappointing. And knowing the real reason why we went last, I think it just triggered me a little more because it's like, bro, I was grieving. I don't give a fuck about, you know what I'm saying, what you and Hitman got going on. I was grieving, bro. Like, so that made me feel away. And I definitely was triggered yesterday and annoyed, but I'm always good enough to when I feel a certain way, it's not for social media. So I always just put my phone down, you know, I move about my day, and I come back when I'm ready to just operate regularly. But I just didn't like being attached to it. I didn't even like the speculation being out there. I didn't like that being a conversation being had in the spaces because
could have called you.
It could have been something different. It could have been a different conversation, and you know, everything ain't for social media. Everything ain't for the public. So that definitely bothered me.
Would you guys work again? Would you work with him again, or you have a conversation?
I'm not. This wouldn't disqualify him from being on TBL because I don't think. I think what he was asking had directly to do with me. So I would never tell Jay, hey, we're not going to set up you and Verb
right
on TBL because of this, right? I'm somebody that I cannot like you as a person, or I cannot like the way that you move, or I can know that you don't like me for whatever reason. I'm still going to extend an invite for you to be on TBL if I feel like there's a matchup for you we want, or a matchup for you that makes sense. I don't let that again. To me, that would be politics. To me, that would be, hey, you and me are not on good terms, therefore you can't grace my platform. And to me, that's not fair. To me, it's about giving the fans what the fuck they want. If the fans want to see somebody who don't like me, I'm gonna still extend the invite and say, yo, I know you might not rock with me. You may not.
Right,
you know what I'm saying? You have your issues with me, but the fans want to see you, and they want to see you versus such and such.
Mm.
Let's figure out a number, and why don't you pull up? You can diss me a year round. I don't care, but pull up for the fans because the fans want to see you. You know what I'm saying? And I don't ever want any personal shit, whether it's one-sided or on somebody else's side, to get in the way of what matchups people can see here. I don't want there to be one battler that's excluded from TBL. Anybody you want to see, you might be able to see on our cards. Okay. And I want that to be something that we can say, because I know other platforms can't say it.
That is true too. That last bar, that's true.
And that's no shade to them.
Right.
They've been around longer. Things happened, and maybe in 5 years I won't be able to say that. But for now, it's something that we can say. You can see Easy over here. You can see K-Shine over here. You can see certain people over here, as long as it makes sense, right? As long as it's a matchup people want to see, and it makes sense for it to happen. You can still see Verb over here. You can see whoever over here. You know what I'm saying?
Very mature, man. I like how you handle that, brother. I love how you handle that, man. Good to get that. Just want to get that out the way and shit, though. So once again, September 13th, TBL. Like you said, we're gonna wait for more announcements after URL does they roll out and everything like that.
After
right?
they done, and I apologize. I did an interview at Point Proven, and I had told people we were giving out the full card on Memorial Day, so people have been hitting me up. Yo, what's the card? What's the card? So let me apologize, because that was definitely our original plan, to release a full trailer on Memorial Day, and that was before we kind of got the intel that URL was about to start their rollout. And again, I didn't want to step on what they had going on and what they had coming, so we decided not to go the full trailer route. We decided to just do individual announcements, and we would just start them after URL was done. And so I don't know how many battles URL has left, but I'm assuming in the next 3 or 4 days they should be.
Yeah, more battles coming out. Right?
They should be good, especially with the event being in 2 weeks. I think they're going to be done. So you should be getting the co-main event announcement for Bulletproof within the next 3 to 5 days.
Okay, all right. How excited are you for the Hitman Mook face-off? That's going to be a very interesting face-off. That's going to be crazy.
I'm really excited. I'm really excited. My question is, and for the fans who watch this interview, feel free to tweet me at Chilla Jones on Twitter, or feel free to inbox me on Instagram, Chilla Jones. Should we open the face-off to the public?
Okay. Wow.
Should fans be able to pull up, sit down like a press conference, and see all of the face-offs for Bulletproof?
Wow.
Including Mook and Hitman in one maybe 2 hour session.
Wow. So you guys,
I think that would be dope.
That's the idea, right? It sounds like you guys are wrestling with that idea right now, right?
Yeah. I'm always trying to figure out how to be a little different, or how to do things different. And I just think it would be a dope situation for say 50 fans to be able to just pull up and see the face off, and then have a Q&A and be able to ask, yo, Hitman, yo, what up? Yo, Mook, what up? And be able to ask questions that they get, like a press conference. So, I'm thinking about what that would look like, and if that's something that the fans would enjoy. So again, if you are a fan who would potentially enjoy the opportunity of being in the room when the face-off is happening, please tweet me and let me know what you think.
I don't think you're gonna have fans say no, sir. I think they're gonna be like, yeah, I'm trying to get there. In fact, you're saying 50, they're gonna be, you add another 50 to that, because this coach is gonna want to come out deep to that, Chill. But I know you gotta be selective of occupancy of how many people in there, but that's open up a little bit through, though, because mad people gonna want to come to this joint to watch a face-off entirety. But then we're talking Hitman and Mook and whatever fire battles you guys have on top of that. You know what I mean? So
facts.
All right. All right, chill. Listen, man, I appreciate you taking time to rock with me, man. I'm gonna get this out and everything like that, man. I guess I'm gonna get you back when other announcements come out. You know what I'm saying? We'll talk and everything. And
yeah,
listen.
we could talk after the full card. I think
Okay.
the full card, we should be all announced or close to all announced by like probably right after Nome.
After Nome, okay.
Right after Nome. So maybe we can link up again after Nome. We can talk about the full card, and we can talk about whatever happens at Nome.
Absolutely. Chill, I appreciate you as always, King.
Always, bro. Love.
My guy, man. Shout out my brother Chilla Jones. Y'all know the vibes already.